someday. Anyway, let me stop joking. Let's get back to business.
No, I think there's some persons in the conference room. Miss Douglas? I see a text from Miss Hendricks saying they're there. I don't know where she's at.
This is the motion sheet.
Yeah. Go ahead until they say where they are. I don't know. Miss Hendricks said they're there, but I don't know where she's at.
I'll yield for 30 seconds because I want to have an accurate record of who's in the meeting.
Going back. I go.
We're going to give everybody a chance to make sure your accuracy on the record, okay? Anyway, so let's proceed. If the members come in, we'll address them at that point in time. So, Supervisor Fox, do we have any correspondence before the board? Oh, before you do that, I'm going to take a point of personal privilege as a chair and as a member. I want to congratulate the entire Board of Elections, the members, the staff, the election system of the VI for a magnificent job on last Saturday for National Voter Registration Day. The planning was awesome. I think the execution was doubly as awesome. And I'll yield the floor to any other member to give congratulations, because let me tell you something, we must give the roses to the team while they're alive. So I'll yield to any other member that wants to speak to what a magnificent job we did on the system and the board and everybody did last Saturday. I'll start with Supervisor Fox. Supervisor Fox, I'm yielding to you.
She's muted. Sorry, I'm talking, but I'm muted. Again, thank you. I want to extend again, thank you to the board members who participated in the planning process and execution, and the staff, the two deputy supervisors, and the staff on the ground for a successful event. This is the first year we ventured out to expand to St. John because I'm always trying to not exclude them. So I decided to go over there and be on the St. John end, and again, small but great. And two board members, Ms. Wells and Ms. Hendricks. So overall, it was a success. Everybody's already asking when we're going to do it again, I mean, from the community. We did receive a lot of great feedback on our Facebook pages, so we welcome you to visit the Facebook page and look at the photos that we try to post. Some of the Sinclair photos are on their way, they're coming on video, I think. But overall, again, thank you to the board members and the staff.
Thank you, Supervisor Fox. Deputy Supervisor Douglas, and then Deputy Supervisor Alexandra.
Ms. Douglas went to her office and so we can get to see you.
Member Wells, I'm happy to hear you in. Are you there? Is member Hendricks here as well?
Yes, she is.
Thank you. Welcome. I'll note you all. Please, Member Bellato, Please note Member Wells and Hendricks as present. Member Alexander, can you go ahead?
Good afternoon again. Thank you very much for your words. I'd like to say thank you very much to all board members and all the staff. It was a great day. The great day made this week a very good week. Yesterday we had a total of 21 individuals registered in the St. Croix office. And that is just a testament to the expo that we had on Saturday. We had 13 individuals registered. We had 2 people reinstated. So thank to all the board members who came out. Thank to all the staff. They did an amazing job. Thank to all the vendors, the different government agencies that came out to assist to make the expo what it is. And of course, I have to thank Ms. Fox for providing the funding for us to make it possible. So thank you, Ms. Fox.
Thank you very much. Thank you guys so very much.
Ms. Douglas came back?
Not yet.
Okay,
So one thing before I move on, Chairman, I also want to thank the company that assists us. We're working with a young, energetic, strategic company, and for all the black banners and flyers that you see even on the consortium, and our new branding with the palm tree, that's from a young, energetic, strategic company that Mr. Alexander loves to death. So we are making progress. So that's what we're doing, the new branding. And they help push the event and the social media platform for us.
I believe I ought to be watching why doing that lateral.
Yeah, yes, we're watching everybody. We're taking a little from everybody and making it better.
Not a professional comment, but hey, we gotta be loose sometimes. But again, really and truly, until Deputy Douglas comes back, I applauded her because I saw she sent me a bunch of photos and stuff, just as well as we did in St. Croix. I know we did in St. Thomas. Let me tell you, National Voters Registration Day makes a significant difference across the United States. I'm happy to know that we've been doing this in the territory. Supervisor Fox, you're on board, what, 8, 9, 10 years, something like that. We've been doing this thing even before when you came on board, and it had the same ripple effect when we were over on the other side in the old location. But I think that we are reaching out. I think people are becoming aware that their vote counts. And I think that is our overall objective. I just, again, gotta congratulate you on what the work you do. I'm gonna yield for 2 minutes to any other board member. Member Wells, I know you're there.
Well, I want to thank Ms. Fox for coming to St. John because not many people seem to remember St. John. And I can always call Member Hendricks because she'll be there. I wish Member Mercer was on because she said something about it wasn't as big and St. John or whatever. She didn't come over there. She doesn't know.
Okay. Just stick to your point.
You asked me to say what I thought, right?
Yeah, but no personal attacks. No personal.
I wish Member Mercer was on it so I could tell her. St. John and St. Thomas, there's no comparison except that we're the stepchild of St. Thomas. But we did a good job, and I was happy to see Ms. Fox there, and Medical Air Service, and AARP, and all the taxi drivers and everybody who was there in the park. They really did a good job of supporting us. So, Ms. Fox, you can come anytime. God welcome.
Thank you very much, Member Wells. Member Hendricks?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I really had a very good time on St. John, and we did the best that we could have done. We had everything that St. Croix and St. Thomas had. And I've been wanting to say this for a long time because I don't think that we could give Ms. Fox the credit that she deserves. Ms. Fox, I'm going to say it publicly, I'm glad that you are still with us because I don't know what we would have done in this general election with a gubernatorial having a new person on board. Keep up the good work and I have your back.
Thank you. Member Jones, I know you have issue, you have some personal situation, but
So Listened to everybody, and it seemed like everything kicked off well because I was out of the territory when all these wonderful activities was going on. So congratulations to everyone that took part and did the planning and foreseeing and having a very successful event and registration drive. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Member Springer, Vice Chair.
Wasn't to these events, but I heard it was wonderful. I had an air full. My dad's birthday was in that expo day, so we had a surprise party for him. So I'm sorry I couldn't make it, but I heard it was wonderful. So congratulations to all who was there.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Member Laird, I didn't hear from you yet.
I was also out in the territory. It was my birthday weekend. But
Wow. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday!
thank you. Congratulations. Good function well put on.
Okay, I'll bring it to St. Croix.
Member Mercer, hello.
I'm sorry, I apologize. Member Mercer?
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. I was drinking water. My name is business as well. Listen, I have already put out a thing in front of I wanted to commend Tiffany very much. And her team, it wasn't like her alone, I know. Yeah, Melly and all of that. But no, it was somebody from Master that came down. I can phone somebody, I don't know, or something like that. But somebody from Master that was there as a vendor is who made that comment when they came to us. And so that's where that came from as well. It wasn't, it was just a vendor itself. It wasn't even a bypasser. It was a vendor that said, no, I was wait, I had wait for you.
Okay, slow down, guys. Remember the rules. Only one person can speak at a time. The recorder has got to be able to get this transcript. Proceed, Member Mercer.
Yeah, so just to add the clarity to that, because when she came over and she saw the balloons over the hill and things, so just because of the logistics and the way the makeup is and, the terrain, it lended to that feeling of like a fairy or something like that she was saying. So it was a very vendor that made that comment, and I just shared that. So, no, it wasn't, and that's why it stayed internal, as a matter of fact. Miss Wells, you decided to bring it out. But no, I just want indeed, it was a great,
member, please.
Yeah, indeed, it was a great opportunity.
Thank you.
Yeah, like I told you, but maybe we should do it more often too. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Member Mercer. I'm going to bring it back to the other side of the fence. I'm going to start with Member Joseph, Epiphany Joseph. Member Joseph, are you there?
Yeah, I was mute. Well, I enjoyed the time. That's why we run for the board, to do everything to improve the product that we serve the public with at this election. So I enjoyed the event.
Thank you very much, Member Espinosa.
I thought it was a good event. Everybody did a good job. No complaints.
Were you there?
Okay, so Member Moorhead, I don't know. I left early because I had to travel, but I don't know if you made it. But you want to congratulate anyway?
Yes, I was there. I spoke. It went well. I mean, while I was there, we didn't get many people, but there were a lot of people who were paying attention and, in and out of the office more than at our table. But I thought it was successful.
Thank you, Member Belando de O'Neill. Is Member O'Neill there?
You talking to me?
Miss
Member O'Neill? Member O'Neill.
No, she's still muted. I could hear her in the office, but I can't hear her.
Okay, we'll get back to it, but let's proceed.
I'm gonna use the computer.
Just talk.
Okay.
I was saying that I had to leave the island because I had to take my older sister, to Florida because she had a problem with her heart. We couldn't get a cardiologist here on St. Croix, so we had to fly her out. And it's a good thing because at this point she's still in ICU, very, very ill. And I believe if we didn't take her there at the moment that we did, she probably would have been gone because the hospital was not ready for her. There was no emergency, sent her home, and it was a very stressful week. But I'm glad that I was able to do that. But I'm sorry I missed it because I like all kinds of activities like this, and I commend and congratulate everyone that attended. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, and our prayers go out to you and your sister. And I remember Jones has a similar situation, and we just want to thank you guys for doing the work you do. I mean, you know, people in our community does not recognize or appreciate true trying times. We still do the work of the election system. Whatever they may say or think, I want to really, really tip my hat to you guys and say thank you for continuing to do the work you do. So moving right along on the agenda, item number 4, Supervisor Fox.
Yes, good afternoon again. Got 2 letters in, and I want to read, I got to read both of them. I think we shared, I shared both of them. One was from Mr. Kevin Jackson, and the 5th that came in, I shared with the board yesterday. And then we got one this morning from Senator Francis Sliger. So I'll read both of them in the record. So the first one from Kevin Jackson, dear Ms. Fox, exceptional customer service is a fleeting thought at most, and I've learned to keep my expectations low. But having stopped into the offices of the Virgin Islands election system earlier this morning, I was totally blown away. And that's what's on St. Croix here. We needed to make sure that we were still registered to vote. The young woman who attended, and that was Miss Johnson, Tricia, I found out who was after, to us was polite, direct, and efficient throughout the process. We updated our address information and received new voter registration cards. We were also advised of early voting and polling sites. In all, our visitation took no longer than 15 to 20 minutes. The professionalism and excellent service I received were commendable and needed to be acknowledged. This pleasant experience with your colleague has left a positive experience. It has exceeded the quality of expectations to have in future interactions. Keep up the great work, cordially, Kevin Jackson. And like I could say, that's in both offices because they all are trained to give out that same information now that we're going through the process, letting them know where the polling site is going to be, telling them about voting centers. So each time the staff increase of the information they have to share and the service and the professionalism. So again, thank you. And the second letter is from Senator Francis Halligan that came in today. Urgent request for information. Dear Ms. Fox, I'm writing to request information regarding the testing of the electronic voting machines prior to the start of early voting on October 10th, 2022. My staff has searched the Board of Elections official website to review the written procedures regarding testing of the voting equipment. The procedures are not provided on the website. The basic requirements of the procedure are provided in Title 18, Virgin Islands Code number 512, but the code does not provide the full procedure. I am also requesting the serial numbers of seals and tags on all voting equipment that will be used in early voting for the St. Thomas St. John District, date and time that the machines were sealed, and whether the final certification of the machines by the Board of Election members occurred before or after the machines were sealed. Thank you for your hard work with providing fair, free, and open elections in the territory. Respectfully, Senator Alma Francis Saliga, the 34th Legislature. So those are the 2 correspondents, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. So although we have our agenda before us, I'm going to take a point of leadership privilege because outside of all the good things we talked to, the board of elections is not Raymond Williams. Number one, number two, I've said it before and I continue to tell my membership, our membership, I am a team player, but I want to clarify several things. When you swear an oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States of America and all the laws applicable to thereof, okay, it includes the Virgin Islands laws. If you are a member of the Board of Elections, okay, written or unwritten, it has literally always been a policy of this organization that only one person speaks for the board. If you are a member of this board, you have a fiduciary responsibility to ensure that the processes, the operation of, and everything else are carried out without hampering. We thrive on the motto of a fair, honest, and transparent election. So I'm going to address Member Mercer, you specifically, because I need you to appreciate, and I'll yield to you if you need to, but I need you to appreciate something, right? The comments that you made yesterday and a specific candidate's time and that medium, you are not only, the idea, you cannot separate naturally your comments to suggest or to pull or push the idea that the same organization that you are a member of, before you were a member of this board, it was fine. You are a member of this board, you swore an oath. If you saw and thought that something was wrong, you should have dealt with it within the confines of the board and the supervisor. And I want to correct on the record some of the things you spoke to, okay? The certification of voting equipment is carried out by the Office of the Supervisor to put and implement and ensure that all pieces of the equipment, the voting system, are in order. The board has a responsibility to come after and ensure that the work that any staff or outside of the staff that the supervisor of election or her team deem that to do the work. If there's a problem, that is why the code says that the board will certify an election. There is no way, if there's a problem with anything that happens with any piece of equipment that we certify, that's why we are there. I really am telling you, I have a major problem with you feeling and thinking that it was necessary or an opportunity for you to go outside of the election system to suggest that we didn't do other things. Points in the certification process. The technical staff has a responsibility to make sure that every single person on the ballot has a vote. They have a responsibility to make sure every writing on the ballot has a vote. They have a responsibility to do a host of other things. Our job is to come behind and look and test and go through the process of the certification. In St. Croix, we had to ensure 91 ballots met that threshold and that requirement. On the express vote machine, similarly, I need my membership to understand several things. You don't know like me, because guess what? That's irrelevant. What is important is that we are a collective body, and when any member goes outside of this collective body to offer information that that's not accurate, okay? Every machine that we certify, Member Mercer, has a serial number. Every tape that we run has the serial number that is associated with the piece of equipment. I think it's disingenuous of you as a member of this system, member of this board, to believe that planting in the scenario of doubt in anybody or anyone in this community, you go against the grain of what we all literally live to do, to make sure free, transparent, and clear elections. You could have made your concerns known and ask the appropriate questions when you had the opportunity. Going on a radio program and taking it as a point of personal privilege that you don't have, and more so, the point that you are giving misleading information. We can go to the election office right now and guarantee every piece of equipment that was certified, whether it had a seal or not, was accurate. You cannot do that, Member Mercer. I am calling you out singularly because what you've done, okay, goes absolutely against the grain of your oath. It goes absolutely against the grain of what we do. When you are not a member, it was okay for you to do that. I need you to appreciate that you are a member of a board, okay? Collective. We don't always have to agree on everything, but the majority vote rules. But for you to go up there and plant those seeds, Member Mercer, it's inappropriate, number one. You create a shadow of a doubt against an election system that has been in place forever. And I'm serious about it. I want you to know that I do not, and I'm hoping that I'm speaking on behalf of the supervisor and her team and all the other members. And I will yield to you and any other member to say anything you want to say. But Member Mercer, you cannot do that. We are a single body. Our goal is to ensure that we put on a fair, transparent, and clean election. But if you feel as a member that you can go outside of that, I have a problem, big time with that. Okay? I can tolerate a lot of other things, but I refuse to tolerate when you feel that you go out and make people believe that the testing of and certification of the equipment was not right. Even if the machine didn't have a seal at the point in time that you were there or left or indifferent, we can go back. We have redundancies in the system that protects and ensures that our equipment is right. A member of the Board of Election should never feel and find it necessary to go against that. I think that is obligatory. Member Springer.
My hand was up.
Member Springer.
I had my hand up first, Member Mercer. Okay. I just
Springer.
wanted to find out, first of all, we are a team. So I figure we would come to each other if something is going wrong in the board before we go out in the public. So if something happens where you see it looks wrong, unethical or whatever, I figure me or whoever will jump and say, hey, pull up the person on it or the group, the board, because we all one. One mistake hampers us all. However, are you trying to say Member Mercer went on the airways and mentioned that we certified machines without the seals being on it? Trying to get
That's
us
correct. Yes. Yes.
Well, no, that's really absurd. That's kind of crazy. So Member Mercer, you did that. That's really wrong. That's dead wrong. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Member Mazza, you're up for your thought process.
Okay, good afternoon again. All right, I'm the member present at the certification, right? I mean, at the, my only candidate and member, put it candidate and member, so I did not participate in the, touching too much of anything or whatever, right? There were 3 witnesses in all then, therefore myself and 2 other people, right? The deputy supervisor could tell you that I asked the question, okay? I asked a question about it, about the seals, when will the seals go on and stuff, and then she let the technicians answer that. And of course, it would be after the machines are tested. So of course, I left because I went in the restroom. I told the 2 board members, bye. I saw Miss Hendricks. I told her bye. And I thought, okay, they will be certified. They will be, sealed and tagged. Okay, certification is when you sign off on the tag. All right. Yes, we saw everything working. Everything is wonderful. All the testing was done. Everything is wonderful. And I asked the question. I was told to put it in request for the tags and seals and stuff like that. I don't think I, as a board member, should have to do that, but put it in request, for the tags and the seals. However, one of the things I'm saying here today is when you hear any statement I make on the radio, as you know, here on the board, every member and any member, we said it over and over again, can go to the airwaves. I've gone to the airwaves many times, and I've said information, and I've shared information. There's nothing I shared that was inaccurate. I disagree with you totally, Chairman Williams. I didn't say anything inaccurate. I said the machines were tested. They were tested, but I didn't see them being sealed and tagged. Okay, and I was concerned about that. I mentioned that to the people inside, and I thought that when I left, that yes, they would be done. When that interview came up and that question came up, it simply came up. However, you heard it. If you say you heard it for yourself, then you had every right to call in and correct me. You had any right, if you hear any member, to call in. As a matter of fact, as chairman, for any election coming up, there should be some dialogue always to give the voters and the general public, because they're still registering, the general public has much confidence in the system. So if you hear me saying anything wrong, it was your imperative, your opportunity to correct me right then and there. Like I said, at this moment, I know for sure, I can't say that I said anything wrong. The machines indeed were working, but they didn't have the tag and seal. That raised my concern. When I left from there, from that building, I thought, yes, indeed, those seals will go on. But because I don't know when the members signed the tape. I don't know that part. I didn't stay that long. I went downstairs, and the witnesses there were like really concerned and badgering me to find out, like, why didn't those seals go on and stuff like that. Everybody said good night, and it was like over. The testing was over after the machines were, the ballots fed through and everything else. And so when I went downstairs and they asked me all these people questions, I said, well, I don't know. I said, I know normally when I go to any other testing, I've gone to many of them. Many times the media isn't there. Many times candidates aren't there. Why was I and him, this other guy, the only 2 candidates there? Okay, then we're told that, he found out that on St. Croix, whoever was there, he asked that they were sealed on St. Croix. Sealed and tagged and sealed on St. Croix. Why is it different on St. Croix than St. Thomas? Huh? So I now am more puzzled, and more concerned. But I know that whatever I said on the air is not inaccurate information. Yes, you're saying you can go back and see and this and that. Well, maybe some candidates will ask for that. Go back and see. I don't know. But I'm saying to you that I know what I said was accurate in what I saw, because I'm the one that asked the question. Where are the tags and seals on this? They said it will be done later. If it wasn't done later, I don't know, but I know they said it will be done later. What is later? I thought that before you sign a certificate, before you sign any document, whatever is supposed to be in place is in place, and accurate to whatever letter the supervisor read. That is true that the procedure is not in the code. All it says is about testing. But after testing, so what's the purpose of testing if you're going to sign papers, but then nothing is guaranteed, sealed, and tagged? So those became my questions and concerns. Okay? So if you heard me on the air, so you was in the proper position, I had anybody else call the station, call me, call whatever, and say whatever. I would have been happy to divulge that information. Don't wait till you come in a meeting to start to berate me. This is not the time. It's one of
Thank you, Member Meltzer. Thank you. So to respond to several of your points, I said clearly at the beginning that certification that we do is accurate. A seal on a machine when the machine is closed down. Closing and sealing the machine, you suggested very clearly and astutely that we can possibly swap out machines. Okay, number one. Number two. Number, I'm speaking. Only one of we could talk at a, only one of we can speak at a time. Member Mercer.
Don't do it. You're wrong. You're wrong. Don't put me as wrong. You're having no blame to go around here.
Yeah, it's not about blame. It has nothing to do with blame, Member Mercer. It's about facts.
But I suggest you move on to the next thing, because this. You have to deal with the letter they got and the people that are out there, because I could tell you they're saying that it was different and saying, right, answer that. Deal with that.
All I'm going to say is
don't
that...
deal with me. I already said what I saw, and I inquired up.
Thank you. Member Shakima Jones?
Yes, good afternoon. Member Mercer, you said that you had your questions and you were told something else, but at the same time, if you had any doubt in your mind of the question that you asked that wasn't you didn't receive too well, didn't you think that it would have been better for you to have come to the board to have that conversation so that you did ask the staff about this, and you wasn't comfortable with their responding, or you didn't get the response that you needed to get, instead of going to the radio? It's like, if I felt personally, it's like you went against the board, being a board member, where you have the opportunity to come to the board to have a conversation as such. That's it for me.
Thank you very much, Member Epifani Joseph.
Mr. Chairman, yes, I can certify to what we do on St. Croix and the sealing and the signing. I always sign. And while I listen to you and I listen to Member Mercer, if she saw something that was not in accordance to what we do on St. Croix, there is a difference. If I were in her stead, and you know me, and you board members know me, I would not move. If that were to happen in the boardroom in St. Croix, I would not move until I see it sealed for myself, and I take note of the number of the seal. So I think, that's one way she could have done it. Don't move from the room at all until it is sealed, because she's a board member and she can demand that it be done. We do it, that's why I sign it.
Yeah, thank you very much for your point, Member Epifani Joseph. Member Moorhead, then I'll yield to the staff. Member Moorhead.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Unfortunately, what I see from this is that Member Mercer doesn't recognize that she's created more confusion by asking a question publicly. Whatever the answer may be, until she's satisfied with the accurate information or understands what went on, I don't understand as a board member why she would engage with the public prior to talking to the board, because we're supposed to be working together. And it's not that anybody wants to deny things being perfect or as close to perfect as possible, or making sure that we have things in place, as you said, to back up everything. And we do have many layers of provisions, procedures that ensure transparency. But rather than create confusion in the public, get an answer from the people that you're working with. That's my concern. But I don't think that we're seeing that she appreciates that, and the difference between being a member of the public per se and a member of a board, which is one collective deliberative body.
Thank you. I'm going to yield to Deputy Supervisor Douglas, who was there.
One minute, please. Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I want to put a few things on the record. One,
Member Mercer indicated that she was there not as a member, but as a candidate because her name was on the ballot. In addition to her, there was Mr. Todd Hecht and his wife. They were there. Mr. Hecht is a candidate, and his wife was there observing as well. The board went through a very thorough process in explaining a number of different scenarios to everyone that was present. During the testing, candidate Hecht, after the technicians, specifically board member Hendricks, giving him a thorough overview and what those overview in terms of under, over, and different messages meant, he explained that he was satisfied with what he had seen, and he specifically said that he was confident that all is being done to secure the machines and the transparency is there. And he left before the testing concluded. And if my memory serves me well, that would include Member Mercer, because at the time when I went to get the two board members to sign the receipts, Member Mercer was not in the room. She was not in the room. And so they all left before the technicians got to putting the seals on. During the testing, I personally brought out all of the seals, a bag of purple seals, and I placed them there in front of everyone's view. If Member Mercer was given an answer to say later in terms of when the machines will be sealed, that response was when they were finished testing the machines, then the technicians will get to sealing them. And in addition, Mr. Lead Technician Pinney, he had his laptop there and he was recording all the seal numbers that he was going to use to place on the machine. That listing is available.
You don't, Deputy. Thank you for that clarification. You see the importance of stating what are factual. Supervisor Fox, I yield to you.
Again, good afternoon. And I want to also state for the record, both districts conduct testing the same exact way. And number two, the board has a role and the officer, the supervisor has a role. No board, no way, write down seal numbers. That's done by the staff. And if you have a staff that you don't trust the staff, then the board needs to be here and do the work. The seals are there for the public and anyone to review. It's not a board member duty to write the seal down. If you would like to do that, that's on you. But that's not the board requirement. The board is a policy-making body. And you could come and the public will come and see the seals. I sent email to every candidate for the primary so that they can come and see the sealing, the opening, the etc. process. So I don't understand why we think it's any different than St. Croix. It was done, maybe it's finished earlier, but you have to stay to the end. Again, members been on this board for over 4 years. You've seen two elections. It's the same. We do early voting testing, it's on the calendar. You come in, you test, then you seal. You can't seal before you test. And the numbers are written down. And you know who removed that seal? The judge. It's not the election staff, it's not the penny, it's not us. It's in the judge's book when they remove the seal and they do the process every day. When you come to early voting, you don't see the election staff there. It's poll workers that we hire. So again, we continue to cast doubt, and I'm tired of saying it, only in St. Thomas. And everybody wants to, don't want to separate the district. But that's what we do. You know, we go on the radio station without the facts. I heard also, I didn't hear you speaking no particular, but I heard Brian had to come in and correct some of the statements that are made by board members. You know, these machines were brought here before we got here. They were used for the first in 2014. And the workers and the poll workers are family members in the community. They're not board members, they're not the staff. So all we do is continue the conspiracy the territory that some folks don't vote and cast their right. But we are here to conduct a fair, accessible, secure, transparent process. That's all I know. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Member Mercer, you're recognized.
Okay, I want to say that I indeed want to say sorry if I caused any aspersions in any way. However, I'm going to tell you this. I thank the good brother member Joseph, and I thank Ms. Tiba May Douglas, because they're saying it correctly in terms of what I only regret I have is not staying behind and making sure them seals went on. But I'm going to tell you, somebody's telling me they have a video, they have a tape, they have a whatever, where it was not done. Okay? And even when the guys left, contrary to what Member Douglas saying. All right?
Okay, so
I'm saying.
So Member Mercer, you
Yes,
were
sir.
there. You were there.
Yes, sir, and I left because I had to go downstairs.
Okay,
to the
wait,
people,
slow down.
I only regret I have is that.
Slow down. You were there. You left before the process was completed. Deputy Supervisor Douglas highlighted the fact that other members were there. You didn't stay to the end of the process. You took the opportunity, along with other people that came along with you, to go to the radio waves and spread. Member Mercer, I said only one of us can speak at a time. I'll give you the recognition. You left before the process was completed, and you took. There's nothing you can tell me that suggests that somebody tell you that they took a video. Who was there to take a video, Member Mercer? Come on now, let's stop the nonsense, okay?
No. It's no nonsense. It's no nonsense. It's what it is, right? When the person them said that they're satisfied, I saw the whole thing.
Okay, put on the record who the persons are. Put on the record who the persons are.
Listen, when they give me the stuff, then I'll tell you.
No.
Let me say this, because I don't know that they said they have it. So let me see what they have. Now, when they tell me, right, that they were downstairs waiting, that other people waiting downstairs, I said, okay, let me go downstairs and deal with them. The only regret, like I said, I have is that I didn't stay up there and watch the thing. But I knew that in other primary, even the last primary we had, on the other elections, these seals were on. There were people that there that take pictures. I remember the days.
Member Mercer.
But this is what happened in the next round.
I want you to stay focused. Anyway, Member Mercer.
When I finish, please.
Mute her.
When I finish, please.
Member,
The last thing I'm going to say, can I finish, please?
Nope. It don't work like that.
All right, no problem. I'll write it.
Member Moorhead.
I will write it down.
Member Moorhead.
I was just going to request that we move on, because the more you allow the member to speak, the more confusion is being created. And clearly there's going to be no stepping down from the position, and there's just going to be more rudeness of interruptions, and we're not getting the business of the board done.
I totally agree and accept, and thank you for that. We're going to move on the agenda. Next item on our agenda, let me see, I can't see it from here.
It's the approval of the site in St. Thomas. I could talk about it.
Please proceed, Supervisor Fox.
So after our last meeting, I know we were looking at one space, and we were looking at Turnbull or Tutu Park Mall. Tutu Park Mall, the Department of Education worked with us, and they agreed to let us utilize the space for both the early voting and the general election. But in addition to that, we always had BCB and the list. And there have been concerns over the years with BCB, so we decided let's go back to binary direction, which we have utilized up until 2014. We looked at the ADA requirements that was listed in the report, and it was mostly codes and the access for the ramp.
Supervisor Fox, do me a favor, please, because we're creating a transcript and a public record. Spell out what BCB is, please. Thank you.
Bertha C. Busholtas Elementary School, no, junior high school. And so Board Member Hendricks and Miss Douglas. Miss Wells was scheduled, but then a time change because of the Fiona passing on the Monday and the school's closing down. So they went on the Tuesday to look at the site. Both reported back that the site is feasible, usable, and recommend that it be utilized. So now we're bringing that to the board. So instead of St. Thomas having 3 general election sites, we're going to have 4. So we including Ivana Eudora Ken. We have Tutu Park Mall on the same old Scotia Bank location, Charlotte O'Malley High School gym, and the University of the Virgin Islands Center, Sports and Fitness Center. So let's have to vote on that.
Thank you very much, Supervisor Fox. Is there a motion to accept the recommendations of the altered, the additional site?
So
Member
moved.
Moorhead,
So moved.
Second.
second by Member Jones. Any objection? Hearing none, so ordered. Thank you very much. I'm still trying to bring up the agenda. Because I don't have
The next thing on the agenda is the absentee ballot counting dates. After the election on the 8th, what are the dates, proposed dates that the board going to begin to count the absentee ballots?
Okay, so again, I'll yield to my membership, but I'm going to bring it up on my calendar. So election day is November 8th, which is a Tuesday. I'm going to yield to the membership. Do we want to convene on the 9th or do we want to convene on the 10th? But let me put it in some more context. We have 10 days to certify. I'm recommending that we do 2 days based on the outcome, whatever the outcome is on the election, that we convene on the 8th. We convene. I am recommending that we convene on the 17th. No, not the 18th, to conclude the counting of absentee, mail-in, and all those ballots. Member Moorhead?
Yes, I was going to suggest that the first day we count, and this is up to the membership, obviously, be the Friday, because usually, that would give us a couple of days that we're actually getting more, but often the first time we count after we receive more ballots, it's not much more than what we have that have already come in. But we could get everything for that first week done if we do it on Friday one time instead of doing it multiple times. Just an idea.
Thank you. I thought about, because I was looking at my calendar, 3 days after November 8th is Veterans Day. It's a holiday. I think that we need to be able to celebrate and acknowledge that day. My opinion only. Member Springett and then Member Jones.
I just had a question about the sites again. Okay, so the election office in St. Thomas, no?
You're talking about early voting. That's different. I'm talking about general election day.
Okay, so general election days,
General election
Mall, CAH, and UVI.
4 sites, yes.
4 sites. So, but the early voting will be the election office, Tutu Park Mall, and...
No, that's St. John the office.
That's it? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, St. John the office. Yeah, that's it.
Huh?
Yes, and St. John the office. That's it.
Okay, yes. Okay.
Member Jones, I don't know if you had a comment. Okay, Supervisor Fox, I'm back to
Yeah,
you.
my hand was raised for Veterans Day also. So since you addressed it, I put that down. I was, we go right after, because again, not only us, but for folks that may want to come to observe, that's a Veteran Day. We got activity morning and afternoon, so that's not a good day. So we need to look at other dates.
I just want to prefer again that we're going to meet at least one more time before the election, because I think the board needs to know how many absentee ballots were requested, how many were allowed, and stuff like that, because that helps us in our planning. So I'm going to use the member Moorhead again.
I was just going to say, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that was Veterans Day. So we could do it on the Thursday because post offices would be closed on Friday anyway, and we would still have whatever came in that week if we do it Thursday afternoon. If that's acceptable.
Member Joseph, you were saying something?
What's wrong with the weekend?
Member Joseph, I can't say one more time. I apologize.
What's wrong with the weekend?
There's nothing wrong with the weekend. It's a conversation. If you want to do it, then you can prefer to do so.
I throw that in the mix because
I hear you, but
people are working during the week.
Yeah, but I always remember that the certification date is 10 days after the election.
Yeah.
And unless the supervisor on our team can tell us, maybe 5 days prior to the election that we have 1,000 ballots outstanding that we need to deal with, I think that we can deal with all of that stuff shortly thereafter. Deputy Supervisor Alexandra.
Sure. Just in case, we have to keep in mind we wouldn't know until the night of election, but since we're planning ahead, if the possibility of a runoff, you don't want to push it further back into a weekend. So the 9th or the 10th would probably be the best day to start counting, and then the 18th would be the best day to count, because then we have to have the election certified before we start early voting for the runoff, which is scheduled to start the 19th, which is that Saturday. So it have to be, you could start whether it be the Tuesday afternoon, the Wednesday afternoon, the Thursday afternoon, and have to be concluded by the Friday before early voting.
Gotcha. Excellent point. Member Mercer?
Yes, thanks again. Since you're on the talk of the absentee ballots and so forth, I don't see the agenda on my phone anymore here, but I wondered I think this might be a good time to discuss the list that is trying to be put out, the public list that people could see if their names are removed, from voting opportunity or not.
I'm going to go to the Supervisor Fox.
Okay.
We mentioned, and I sent an email to Ms. Mercer that we are still working on the inactive list. When it's completed, we will get it out. It has nothing to do with absentee. Any voter can come and request whatever they want right now. We're not denying anyone of picking up an absentee ballot or anything. So they said we're still working on the list, and that's part of my report highlight, say when you come to that. But it's not complete, so we can't put out a list what's not completed.
Is there any time that it might go out before Monday, or any time during early voting that people could go and see if their names are on that list?
Like I said again, we have over 5,000 voters to work on. The staff is the staff. They have different things that happen. I cannot give you a projected date. You might know that by the end of today or so. So we could send that to everybody, but it's not completed. I just had a meeting with 2 managers today. It's not ready.
Okay, so here's my last question on this. Is there any, is that maybe telling us that we may be faced with a lot of provisional, requests for provisional ballots at the voting centers?
I don't
Okay, let me
that
answer
because
that.
we use the voting centers.
Let me answer that. Member Mercer, you've been on this board long enough to recognize what happens on election day. You served 2 election cycles.
Yeah,
The supervisor or no one else can determine that factor. Provisional balloting, Member Mercer, I told you already, only one of us can speak at a time. I yield to you when I do. Your question is not founded in a basis that makes, look, we don't know how many people are going to be provisionally balloted. You can't ask the supervisor to determine that. That only happens on election day. Thank you. Member Joseph. Member Joseph.
I pass. I pass.
Thank you. Mr. Alexandra.
And just to further clarify, the point, from your point, even if a voter is inactive, they'll still be eligible to vote during early voting or election day. So the voter is no concern of the voter. They could walk up to the voting center today and then change his status and vote that same day. The law provides for the voter to do that. So they will not be disenfranchised in any way, and they will not be voting provisional. They will be a regular voting, casting a ballot on the day of their choice.
Thank you. Member Moorhead?
Yes, and if this is a concern, we're still registering people to vote. Voters can still call in, take responsibility for their right to vote, call in and see if they're active or inactive, and get their status changed through Monday. So,
Excellent
let's
point,
use our
Member
time on the radio to tell people that.
Excellent point, Member Moorhead. So, we've exhausted that conversation. The next item, as in tandem to this, item 5A2, absentee ballot counting. I think I need a motion to either, for the date of either, and I'm not gonna proffer a date, let me take that back. I'll leave it to the person that makes a motion to proffer a date. I just wanna say in proffering a date that the 11th is Veterans Day, with considerations based on what Deputy Supervisor Alexander proffered. Maybe we may need to do it on the 9th or the 10th. So I'm just recommending that, suggesting that based on that. Member Moorhead.
Yeah, I move that we begin counting absentee ballots on the 10th, which would give us one day after Election Day to rest and come in on the Thursday, the day before Veterans Day.
Thank you.
So that would be November the 10th is my motion.
I second.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been moved by Member Moorhead and seconded by
Can I get the motion?
The motion is to start counting any absentee ballots that comes in on the 10th of November.
Thursday.
That's the motion. Is there any dissension on the motion? Hearing none, so ordered. So
Who seconded?
It was seconded by Member Joseph, Epiphany Joseph.
Epiphany. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Next item on our agenda.
Mr. Chairman.
Date.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman. Was a time given for the 10th, 2 p.m.?
Oh, okay. No, there wasn't. And I'll take the privilege of the chair and say that we will begin that process at 4:00 p.m. on the 10th of November. Any objection to that, any member? Hearing none, so we'll proceed on that. Next item on our agenda is, we spoke about the absentee ballot counting. Certification date is November 18th. On that date is when we will ensure that the staff will make sure that all ballots were received by mail from the post offices in the VI. And we will conclude the counting of that. And I would like to ask a member, I think for all intents and purposes, we should complete that task. I'm sorry?
A charger? Every day.
Member Bellato? Member Bellato? I would recommend that we meet to conclude that task at 1:00 p.m. on November 18th. Do I have a consensus on that, or is there a problem? Any member?
What day is that?
The 18th is a Friday.
Hearing none.
Thank you, Lisa.
But I have a question.
Member Supervisor Fox.
If we have to, 10 days after the certification, it needs to be 5 o'clock or 5:30.
Correct.
So we always do that.
Thank you for that. Yes, yeah. Thank you, Supervisor. You're right. You're absolutely correct. By law, we have to wait till 5. So we will convene on November 18th at 5:00 p.m. virtually to ensure that any outstanding ballots are counted.
Virtually?
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, you said virtually?
Because, we're doing 2 islands, so we need to make sure both districts are accommodated.
Yeah, but you said But I mean, I know that, but we can't. I mean, those of us in St. Croix and those in St. Thomas can't meet in the office because we
Yeah. No, okay. Let me clarify that. Thank you, Member Joseph. So what I said, yes, I meant that we for certification, we literally have to be there in person, but in terms of getting a collective membership, we'll do it virtually. Thank you for that, Member Joseph. Next item on the agenda, 5A4, VIPD meeting update. So Supervisor Fox and our deputies, along with myself, I invited members, executive members, Liliana Delauder O'Neill and Tanya Springett. I know both of them tried to get in, but for some reason they couldn't get in. But I just want to report out, right, that two things. I'll bifurcate the agenda. We met with the brass of the police department. We spoke to electioneering primarily. We spoke to the fact that both deputies, and I'm inviting any members in either district to accompany the police brass along with the deputies to look at all of the voting centers in terms of ensuring what will not be allowed in terms of electioneering. Those days, Ms. Alexandra or Ms. Douglas or Supervisor, help me. I think it's the 12th on St. Croix and the 13th on St. Thomas. So you can correct me if I'm wrong, but
That's correct.
thank you. So if any member, and I recommend very highly that any of our members that are able to go out and look, survey. We basically put it before the department that the law gives the chairman the right to designate. The chairman ain't designating nothing that ain't been in place before. We are sticking to the 200 feet away from the mouth of the precinct. And why I am strongly doubling down on that, because a lot of our precincts, especially on St. Thomas, are on the road. Okay, some are in St. Croix too, but I recommend that you go. The police department will be setting up barricades. They will be supplying the tape, the yellow tape, and stuff like that, so that we can ensure and that no one sets up. So I think I sent to Mr. Mohammed and the supervisor staff. I don't know if every member got it yet, but I set up meetings in each district for candidates so we can talk about the rules of election day, hoping that electioneering, poll watchers, and every other piece that we need to ensure that the candidates understand. So again, we will send out the meeting, the invite for those meetings on those if they hadn't been sent out by Mr. Mohammed. So I just wanted to update you guys on that. Any questions from the members? Member Springett? Member Springett?
So I know the last time when we had our primary, we did speak to the officers and stuff, and they said they were going to do the same thing. Now, people were already set up a night before and everything, like tents and stuff were up the night before in front of Charlotte Mali High School and stuff. Was that an okay location in front of the gate?
Yes, we spoke to that. Recognizing that a lot of candidates claim a place or position. The goal is for the police department, along with us, the election system, to barricade off and place no tapes that say, well, it doesn't. I think Supervisor Fox told me, if I'm not mistaken, correct me, that we may have some tape that says no electioneering. But the objective is for us to put signs out, maybe by midday, the day before, or 5 o'clock when the schools or the properties are available, so that we can ensure that no one can come beyond or within those parameters. Member Epifani Joseph.
Mr. Chairman, seeing that we all know the polling centers as a board, the folks in St. Thomas know their polling center. We know the ones here. As a board, knowing the site, we can decide exactly based on the existing law where we could put the boundaries so that we can give it to the law enforcement officers as to where we suggest that they put the barriers, maybe the day before, the night, at least long enough before people set up, because I know I put them down and sometimes those people compete with me at the time when I usually put them down before the night before the election. So if we can decide where we would want to put those signs, then we can give them the guidance as to where they put the barriers.
Right. So I used you as an example, believe it or not, in our meeting with them yesterday. Two things, and I went vote center by vote center, St. Croix and St. Thomas, but the idea is that 200 feet outside of the mouth, ingress and egress of any voting center. Number two, we discussed the fact that if somebody set up on a private property, we cannot negate or tell them that they can't be there, as long as they don't come onto the public road to electioneer, it's okay. So all those things were clarified yesterday. So thank you for that. Member Leardon?
I just had a question about the 200 feet. Because I think in our last meeting, Ms. Jones had said if we go 200 feet in St. John, that's the people will be in the water. I think she said that. So what's happening? Are we making concession for certain places? Are we sticking to 200 feet?
So thank you for that, Leardon. If you go to the school in Coos Bay, for example, 200 feet will put you back on that main street. I don't know the name of it. And Member Jones, you can help me with it, and Member Wells. But as long as you turn, if you come in from the boat and you walk up. Caroline, I can hear you. So, yeah, if you're coming from the boat, just using that as a reference, right? You walk up to the school, Sprout. Along where the school is at, nobody can be within. It's unrealistic to think that you can try to set up on that road. So what I've seen in my experience from being there in the last two elections is that people set up, and I'll call it the Center Line Road. Shakima, help me out if I'm wrong. I don't know what you call it, but I call it the Center Line Road. You know, if you're on the other side, like where the legislature is at, you know, something like that is fine. Member Latham, the objective is not to impede on any voter having access to vote and challenge. I don't know if that helps. Member Jones, I'll yield to you. And Member Wells.
Member Wells. Yes, you could call it Center Line Road. That's the road coming from Coos Bay straight up past the legislature to VIPD to the roundabout. So on St. John, we usually have people up at the roundabout area by the bandstand. And for this primary election, we did have people across the street from the school by Murray's Bar. So the thing about it is that no one can be on the road in front of the school at all. So we came to that understanding. So anything out of that area, in my own personal opinion, is fine, because 200 feet on St. John is a little ridiculous, but we don't have that much space.
Latham, you're good?
No, I'm good. I understand that. Well, you're making concessions for St. John's.
Because
that
of
you can.
Yeah, because of the topography.
Okay, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. When I look at Charlotte Amalie High School, their entrances are large enough that if people are outside that gate, because they are not even close to the mouth of where you actually register to vote, they have two wide openings to exit in and exit out, and people are still, and there's still spaces on the side. Wow, I don't see how Charlotte Amalie is impeding on citizens to vote if people set up outside of the gate.
Okay, so
I'm just saying.
I'm gonna answer that based on experience. I hear you clearly, but if you were to go to Charlotte Amalie High School, if you were to go to Burgess Shelter, if you were to go to university, we put rules based generally to what you're speaking to. They don't set up there, but by the time by 11 in the morning, 12 in the day, people are literally campaigning, electioneering in the mouth of the property. At BCB last election, not this one last election, I was here, and you know, and you know what is sad about it? It's our elected officials who are violating the same rule. So I hear what you're saying, but we have got to ensure that no voter, no elector is hampered going in or going out. So, you know, I hope you can appreciate that. But
I understand that, but then with Charlotte Amalie, you're saying there's no place for them to set up because across the street is private property.
correct.
So then there's no place for Charlotte Amalie. There's no place for them to set up when it comes to Charlotte Amalie.
Well,
So
I
you're
remember
saying
later,
they're in there.
I think you realize, and you know that they were set up at the same side of the school, and you as a member and my membership can suggest something different. But my thing is, as long as they don't go and impede anyone from getting into vote, I think that's our major concern. I've seen it too many times where things have happened. Remember Belardo? You're muted. You're muted.
Okay. Mr. Williams, I've been hearing the conversation about the 200 feet away for electioneering. I was in the Senate when that came up, and there was a big argument, especially for the people of St. John, who I just heard says that 200 feet will take them to the water. But it passed, and that's a law, so I guess they will have to find an alternative to comply with those 200 feet away from electioneering. I can't talk for them because I'm not aware of the situation there. My situation here in St. Croix, and I suppose it's already in St. Thomas, is that the candidates, and this happened at Central High School when I went to Central High School for the primary, the governor's candidate already put up a big tent, right, moving all kinds of signs, even the police signs, even everything, and this and that. I believe they're breaking the law, of course. I believe that, and I don't know if this is possible, if we can have a meeting with the leaders of these candidates, especially the gubernatorial, because this is where the interest of the people is going to be, and let them know that if they set up a big tent, the police is going to ask them to move it without causing a big chaos, because they are the leaders. They have to follow the law, and when they set up a 20 by 20 tent, who is going to move a 20 by 20 tent? So besides the point that people move the signs, move the barriers, there should be a discipline order by the police that if you put it in and you violate the 200, then you will be removed, regardless of whether you were the governor or the ones trying to get governor or whoever, that should be up to them to abide and not violate the law. And I don't know if we can do that if we have enough time to meet with some of them.
Yes,
I mean, that's my
yes.
personal opinion.
Yes, thank you, Member Bellato. So as a part of the conversation, Supervisor Fox and the deputies can speak to it. Yes, we discussed that yesterday. We plan to meet with the candidates, Supervisor Fox or your deputies. I can't remember the date. Can any of you guys have the date where we schedule that meeting? Because I'd like board members to be there. The police department will be there as well. So yes, everything you said, Member Bellato, was taken into consideration in the conversation yesterday. So yeah, Supervisor Fox.
One of the dates, Mr. Williams, is I tell you right now, November 3rd. Oh gosh. November 2nd.
I think St. Thomas is the 13th.
3:30 to 5:30.
3:30 to 5:30 on the 13th.
No, the 2nd of November. The meeting with the candidates?
Yeah, the candidates, yeah.
Yeah, November, you said it for November 2nd, from 3 to 5, well, 3 to 5, and then the one in St. Croix is November the 3rd, from 3:30 to 5:30.
Okay, so I would ask our members to please come and be a part of that, because we can hear all the concerns of the candidates and stuff. So Member Bellato, thank you for expressing your thought. Member Epiphany Joseph?
I pass.
Thank you. Next item on our agenda, status on the ESNS stabilization software and equipment. This is a very important and critical part of our discussion. You know, we went through some changes in the primary election that we don't want to experience again. So I'm going to yield to Supervisor Fox and her staff to give us an update on where we are on that subject.
Again, good afternoon. And Chairman, after I finish this, could I just do the 3 highlights that I have from the supervisor's perspective report, so we don't have to come back to me?
Sure.
So right now, they are considered like servers. We're getting servers in both districts. And they should arrive here by October 16th. We had a meeting last Wednesday with the team from ESNS. And so the team's going to be at the ground, one in St. Croix and one in St. Thomas. Tuesday, October 18th, for the network setup and testing to make sure it'll be ready for election night. Again, they'll be here testing the 19th and the 20th. If they have any issues, they'll extend their time. They do not foresee any issues. It's similar to what servers we have, just that it's via ESNS server from St. Thomas to St. Croix and pings back to Nebraska. So we're hoping that again, we got soft transportation and shipping having some concerns, but hopefully it'll be on the ground, and as soon as it gets on the ground, I will inform the board. So it'll go in both server room, and it'll be under security. They will asking those type of questions, because they want to make sure it's in a secure area before they even dispatch that equipment to us. So that's what I have. Any questions on the date time? And the next 3 little things that I have for update for the board. Early voting preparation is completed. I had my managers meeting this morning. We are ready for execution. All I's are dotted and all T's are crossed. Although Monday's a holiday for most of you, we want voters to come out on the holiday, and then we will go from there with our goals that we're going to set. We're excited and we're ready. Again, you already addressed the board meeting with the candidates, but we need to also address the poll watchers certificates with the candidates. We have a press release out. They need to pick up the certificates in a timely manner. So that also has to be addressed, and we make sure the board members, again, you're on radio, put all this information. They need to know who are the poll watchers. The poll watchers need to be registered voters. I can't believe some of them selected people and they're not registered voters. they cannot participate in the election system if they are not a registered voter. So the poll watchers need to be registered voters. They need to get the instructions in advance so they don't harass the judges and the staff that are working on election day. It's going to be busy, and we can't be off our P's and Q's. The police know of solving of these problems. The candidates need to be aware. The board members need to be aware so you can tell them the proper procedures. So take a copy of the press release, have it in your car, drive around with them because press releases are there. Give instructions to the poll watchers. And the inactive, active listing, as Miss Mercer is requesting, again, St. Croix started a couple of days before St. Thomas. So St. Croix right now is at the precipice, and they have 7,036 inactive voters. They're not here, they ain't gonna come up here, whatever. If they come to vote, we will let them vote, but we're telling you, they're not here. The letters came back, unless some of them move, that's a percentage. St. Thomas completed thus far 3,242, and as of today, they have over 5,000 more to do and check. So that's why I can't give a number. And like we said, this has nothing to do with voting. If a person shows up, they're going to vote. And then we will check, make the correction whether we need to send them a letter or put them inactive. It's just a switch on a computer, but they are allowed to vote. Again, everybody got the zest to get these people informed. Some of them been on the roads for 100 years. So we're doing cancellation. Sheets are out in the post office. We're going to put it at Human Services. We're going to put it all over so folks could pass the word to their loved ones. The last thing I have, absentee, right now we have 468, 193 on St. Croix, and 275 requested on St. Thomas. Some are mailing, some are walking. I foresee and I recommend that the board meet 3 dates. I text that to the chairman. 2 dates is not good enough because we need to gauge where we are so we could process certain things ahead of the 18th. So again, I recommend 3 dates to do the absentee count. That's all I have, Chairman.
Thank you. So we already took action on the date based on Member Moorhead's motion. We'll be meeting on the 10th, the day before your big holiday that I love to celebrate with you.
That's why I go celebrate, so I didn't know that. No, I'm not going to be working.
Yeah, that's why we're
working on my birthday. I could do that much, but I can't work on my birthday.
Okay.
But I could work on my birthday, October 17th.
Member Belardo?
Belardo's a veteran herself.
Mr. Chairman, I need to discipline whoever took the 10th of October to have early voting, because that's when we celebrate VI Puerto Rico celebration, which started last night, of course, in Government House. Of course, I wasn't invited because I am apparently the field I'm not supposed to.
So now you're editorializing.
But the 10th, we are still celebrating the celebration of VI Puerto Rico, so you don't expect any Spanish to come on that day. So,
Member Belardo, we're talking about November 10th, not
No, she doesn't know. October 10th. The voting starts.
October 10th, Member Belardo. Pay attention.
No, October 10th. Williams.
And a more serious,
Yes.
October 10th, early voting start. That's what she's talking about. We
Member
schedule our date.
Member Belardo, the early voting is in the auspice of the office of the supervisor, not the board. Okay?
I know
if
that.
they don't want to go and vote on VIPR day, they don't have to. They got 21 days. So let that be.
And okay, on a serious note, Mr. Chairman and Mrs. Fox and members of this board, I heard Mrs. Fox says that the ESSP service are coming to look at the machine and set them up and do whatever they have to do. My question and my concern is, when these people come here, do you put them in a safe place where they don't do any hanky-panky with anybody else outside? Because I am hearing that there is a false drum drive with 2,000 votes, and that vote is given to some judge, and I know some of the judges are very honorable, and that's why we are hearing the primary 2,000 vote, the general election 2,000 vote, and we're talking about 2,000 cards that were lost. I need to know, from my own personal opinion, and I'm sure that Harriet is gonna pick up on this, where does these people stay? Who takes them for dinner? Who takes them out? And whether these people are honest enough not to be sold.
Okay, I'm going to answer that. We are the Board of Elections. Our responsibility is to ensure the management of election day. So, Member Bellardo, you put, okay, I'm not going to use the word, but you put a perspective out there that, again, like another member has done. We need to stop. You know, you hear this, you hear that. Member Bellardo, you sat there when we certified the equipment. A thumb drive is placed in each of our DS200s and sealed. Number one. Number two, the people who come in here can't bring nothing to put in nothing. You know, we gotta stop this, and I'm very serious about it. We have got to stop putting, as members of this organization, we have a responsibility. We got to stop putting that kind of narrative publicly, because you swore on an oath, like I did and every other member. We need to stop putting this misinformation out there. We go through Herculean tasks to ensure that our election is fair, transparent, and so we gotta stop doing that. We are members of a board. You ran for it, I ran for it, everybody has ran for it. We gotta stop capitalizing on nonsense. And if the board is doing that, it sets a bad precedence. Okay? This kind of information can create havoc in our community. So we gotta stop doing that, Member Bellardo. Seriously, you've been there. You test machines right next to me. Okay? So when we certify the equipment, we know how many ballots when it came out. The thumb drive is sealed. It is sealed. Okay? We close, open the poll, close the poll. Let's stick to facts and not fiction. Stop promoting, and to all my members, I'm saying this to you. Okay? I am not.
Mr. Chairman,
wait, we can't speak.
Mr.
We're all
Chairman,
adults.
calm down.
We're all adults. Member Bellardo, I'm speaking. Member Bellardo, I'm speaking.
But I'm saying
we're all adults. Member Bellardo, we're all adults. Member Bellardo, we're all adults. We need to stop promoting propaganda. That's how I'm saying to you. That's how I'm saying to you. Stop promoting the propaganda, please. Because nope. It's the privilege of the chair.
Mr. Chairman, you said that.
Supervisor Fox, you're recognized. Supervisor Fox, you're recognized. You're muted, Supervisor. Supervisor Fox, you're recognized.
Yes, I'm saying again, all the ES&S personnel that comes here has a job to do. They come here, they perform the job, and they do not leave with any equipment. ES&S has been around for a number of years. They serve 23 states. And if they think they're going to come here to deal with our little pian election and risk their career, I think it's slightly. So there's a lot of theories out there, but again, we and the board has to be the one to address it when you hear it, because you know the system goes out sealed and it comes back with a police escort sealed. So again, you have to address it. You hear it, you bring it to our attention. But ES&S has no fame and game to know anything about our election. That's not the job they're in. All machines tested, whether Virgin Islands. Look at Tatola, look at Aguila. Same machines. Use, tested, and try. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Fox. So I'm going to move on to other business on the agenda? I have nothing. I don't know if any member has anything that they want to speak to that's not on the agenda. Hearing none. I'm sorry, Member Joseph. I apologize.
Mr. Chairman, earlier on before all this, I was just pointing out Ms. Fox's military background, seen in the way she delivers her message.
Thank you.
I just wanted to make fun of her with that.
Okay. I think she appreciates that.
Thank you for a compliment. And I'm going to say again, since you said one thing, I served 32 years for the federal government. And there's no way I can come in the local government and tarnish my career, my character, or my mother character. My mother make 89 yesterday. And this election system ain't going to cause me to cause my mother her death. Thank you all.
Me and you both. I got you by 3 years, 92. Okay? But yeah, all jokes aside though, Member Mercer?
Yes, thank you. I want to thank everyone for just making themselves clear today in this meeting. I hope we all are clear. I want to then ask your help, Chairman, and anyone of the other board members to make it happen so that when Sunday comes, I know we have extended hours. Several of us have, said yes, we will participate in helping out. Today, that we actually come in. I know some of us said we will come in from today and help on. I don't know how busy the office has been, or even Deputy Douglas, because I know we are set from 4:30 until 6. So I just want to verify that. Otherwise, I won't have to rush in there.
Okay, so I'm going to speak on that. By law, we have that responsibility, whether or not. Okay, so we have the meeting. Now we've been in the meeting maybe 3 hours, but yes, we need to be there to assist in ensuring anybody comes in to register that we can register them.
And the last thing I want is, I know we mentioned earlier, and you said we put in the chat, any help anybody can give, it has to be board members to go into the boat, St. Thomas and of course St. Croix, and once that will come through with the director to help to register any of those persons that want to register, their mothers and, parents who want to see that their young men or young girl in the prison system that are qualified, to be registered and also to get absentee ballots, that the opportunity be fully allowed to them or, fully open to them. And I'm hoping that we can have some consensus or even commitment here today for members that we could go in there and do that, because I know they can't come or we can't get a signature any other way than to go in. So that is what I'm concerned about. I hope I can get that because I know Sunday's right around the corner. As far as registration, I know we have more time for absentee, but I'm concerned about the time running out.
Right. So to answer that, and Member Moorhead, I don't know if she's still on the line, but yes. So everything you said, yes. If and I'm gonna charge you with taking the lead on that. If I'm gonna ask you because I can't direct you, along with the staff to reach out to the penal system, October 6th, 5 days. If there's anyone that hasn't been adjudicated, okay, that's a word, adjudicated. If they've not been, we can register them to vote. So I'm going to ask you to take the lead on that. I know Member Moorhead has also taken the lead on St. Croix on that because we're big on that. I'm going to ask you to probably reach out to Deputy Douglas and see if that's if there's anyone that needs to be registered. And if you need me to come to Navas, I'll come and assist you. Okay?
Sure, that. And don't forget that applies to convalescent homes and things. To any place where they're shut in, this applies to that as well.
Wherever we need to go, we will make ourselves available. But we need to know, and we need to know that they have the documentation to be registered. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anything else before the board?
I move that the meeting be adjourned.
Motion to adjourn. Any second on that? Any second?
Second their motion.
Second, Member Springer. Member Bellado, are you taking those notes? Anyway, Yes, ma'am. Thank you,
Yes, I am.
thank you, Member Bellotta. Thank you. So, the next meeting, if it's okay with our membership, I want to set our next meeting for the 27th of October at 2:00 p.m. Any objection to that?
Tell me the date again, I'm sorry.
Firebomb.
The 27th
27th.
of October.
I'm good with that date.
Thank you. So, unless otherwise, this meeting of the Board of Elections.
Sorry. Well, I know Ms. Parks had indicated before, but Ms. Parks and I will be attending a mandatory HR.
Yeah, I'm looking at it,
class.
the phone right now.
That date. That of the 26th would work.
It's a long,
Okay. Yeah, we could go to the 26th. That's okay.
that's a long way ahead, Mr. Chairman. That's about 3 weeks. 22nd, 27th.
Yeah, because what we need to meet for otherwise.
Mr. Joseph, that's not himself 3 weeks. That's a blinking of an eye. That's next week. Because once early voting starts, we're just a few days from election.
Yeah,
It's going to blow
sorry
by.
about it. That's anyway.
So the next, I'll yield to the deputy. So we'll move the meeting to the 26th of October at 2 p.m. Hearing no other business before the Board of Elections, today, October 6th at 3:57 p.m. I want to thank you guys for your attendance. I want to thank you for a spirited conversation. Let's continue to keep the elections fair, clean, transparent. Supervisor, give it a lingo, Supervisor.
Fair, accessible, secure, and transparent.
There we go. So let's continue to do that work. I'm so proud of all my members. I thank you all for being here today. We'll meet again in about 2 weeks. God bless you all. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman Williams, we are proud of you. Very good meeting and very good explanation of the process earlier. Great job. I'm going to put in a good word with Mr. Brown to reward you. But very good meeting. It was a very, very good meeting. I typically never say much, but your explanation to everything in the meeting earlier was on point and accurate. And I'm very grateful for what you did earlier.
You have a mouth now, young man.
What are you looking for? Why is this sweetening the chairman? What do you need, Terrell?
A week off, you want a week off? I'm looking for a week off. So you get to the chairman for a week off.
Good night. Good afternoon,
Have a good day, everybody.
It's been a long day. Oh, God. I'll see you later.
Do we get paid for the next session now that we're going to register?
This is going to be my food for the day.
What, you leaving?
I spent 3 hours in complex, 3 hours over here.
What are you going to
Well, that's what I plan to retire.
Complex? This one? But nobody.
Yeah, I mean, the complex, myself and member Bellardo. Member Morehead. And then this evening I go line with you again, like yesterday.
We need to put a time limit on these sessions, so like 3 hours. Once we put in 3 hours one day, and the next time we put in 3 hours, we get paid for both.
Well,
we get paid 2 times.
We can choose to double it or triple it if we so desire.
Yeah, because $75 can't pay me a whole day being here. Yeah, man.
Okay, then. See you later.
Okay, bye-bye. I telling them, if we just finish a meeting and then we're going to register, they're going to pay us for 2 times. They should pay us for 2 times, don't you think so? I think so. So I gonna put in for 2. Huh? I gonna put that for real. I like your shirt. That's the one I wanted to buy. I was getting taking that home so big. Yeah, the white one they did for me to take it in the back, and it looks so good.